God's sovereignty. Good day everyone, I am Judisa Maysaguni and today I am going to share to you some points in my research paper. But before we dive into the main discussion, let us first define what is sovereignty. Sovereignty, it is a supreme power or authority. What about God's sovereignty? It is a concept in theology that emphasizes God's absolute and supreme authority over all creation, the entire universe, nature, humanity, and the course of history. Sovereignty is a characteristic of God. I entitled my research Divine Sovereignty, Unveiling and Exploring God's Supreme Authority. Divine sovereignty is often linked to the belief that everything that occurs is part of God's plan. It can be seen as a source of comfort, assuring people that God is in control and can guide both individuals and the world towards a meaningful purpose. Divine sovereignty is a fundamental belief in various religions. This research paper aims to uncover some aspects of God's supreme authority, revealing its complex nature and considering how it affects human life, morals, and spirituality. First point, God's sovereignty proved that He is the Lord over creation. God's sovereignty proved that He is the Lord over creation. Arthur W. Pink said, God's sovereignty defines His entire being. God's sovereignty defines His entire being. Even then, God was sovereign. No one could challenge His will. Consider the creation and arrangement of creatures, birds in the air, beasts in the land, and fish in the sea. Who made them different from one another? It was the Creator who sovereignly assigned their various locations and adaptations. Look at the heavens, and you'll see the mysteries of divine sovereignty, the varying glories of the sun, the moon, and the stars. First subpoint, God rules over His creation. R.C. Sproul said, when God brings things into existence, He doesn't just create them and leave them be. There's more to it than a generous act. There's also a sense of control. The same God who brings things into being, who keeps them going, is the same God who governs and has power and authority over the entire realm. Second subpoint, He has an eternal plan for all nature. Nothing is beyond God's power. He says the word, the rain falls. He gives a command, and the winds listen. The Bible always says that what happens in nature is God's doing. God is behind all natural events. Second point, everything happens according to God's plan and intention. Everything happens according to God's plan and intention. The life of Joseph testifies that the sovereignty of God, where He planned everything with a purpose. In the story of Joseph and throughout Genesis, we learn that God is really powerful and can make things happen according to His plan. Even when we face despair in our hardships, the Bible reassures us about who God is and His commitments He has made. We can rely on His sovereign authority, His benevolence, and His wisdom in our lives. Third point, God's sovereignty is compatible with human free will. God's sovereignty is compatible with human free will. God has complete freedom and control over everything. He is in charge of everything that happens. All living things, non-living things are part of His rule. However, this doesn't mean that God takes away the freedom of His creatures, especially humans, who can make moral choices. God made beings with the ability to choose between right and wrong. In conclusion, the Bible teaches us that God is in charge of everything, creating and controlling what happens in the world. God is in control of everything He created and is directing it all according to His plan. Everything works out for the good of those who love God and follow His purpose. God's sovereignty.